Welcome back to the Lone Screenplay Nominee Podcast, where we discuss in detail films that either got a lone writing Oscar or was nominated only in the writing categories. I'm your host, Matthew Anderson. We're back with the show. However long it may be, we don't know. But regardless, I'm not here by myself. I'm here with Roberto Tyler Ortiz back on the show, who's already been on both our Lone Screenplay Nominee Podcast show and our After Hours Patreon as well. So, Roberto, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm probably your favorite guest, huh?
I actually haven't. I'd have to check to see how many people I've had on the show. I can't remember because I know you were on for the Precious episode and you were on for
Yeah.
Cider House Rules.
Yes.
Um, I know there was at least a couple I'm thinking of on the that I'm blanking on right now for the
Big
Lone
Short
Screenplay.
and
Big Short.
Election. Yes, sir.
What was the other one?
Election, I think.
Election. So
See,
that's.
wow, this is our fifth one.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah,
This is our fifth one. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. This might be your last. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm being blacklisted after this.
No. It's stop spreading rumors, okay? We got enough of that already with what's going on with Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah. Anyways, enough of that. So yeah, if you listen to our other episodes, the format is similar, as you guys probably know by now. We will be going over spoilers on our discussion. So if you haven't seen the film yet, go out and see it first and then come back to hear our thoughts about what we have to say about the film, which today will be American Fiction. So, but before we do that, I just want to share to our audience what exactly the premise is about, in case anyone who isn't aware of what it is, or I'll just give you the basic setup of what it is. So, American Fiction is revolving around a frustrated African American novelist professor, Dr. Thelonious Monk Ellison, who's fed up with the establishment of profiteering from Black entertainment. One day, he decides to use a pen name and writes an outlandish satire of satirical, air quotes, black books, only to be mistaken for serious literature, and is published to high sales and critical praise. So American Fiction is the directorial debut of Cord Jefferson, who this is also his first feature film screenwriting job as well. This was based off the 2001 novel Erasure by Percival Everett. The film stars Jeffrey Wright, Tracy Ellis Ross, Issa Rae, Sterling K. Brown, John Ortiz, Erica Alexander, Leslie Uggams, Adam Brody, and Keith David. So, yeah, Roberto, what'd you think of this Oscar-winning flick?
I loved it. I'm sure you knew that. I saw it at my first. I saw it at my first ever film festival. I went to AFI Fest in 2023, dude, I fell in love with it. I was crying, laughing. Okay, I love Jeffrey Wright in it. And I think once it came out in like December or November, I took my family to see it, and my brother, he loved it. My parents also loved it, but it was fun talking to him about it. But man, I think I've seen this like 4 times. I have nothing bad to say about this movie.
Oh, really?
Did I say I
Interesting.
loved it?
I think you said you hated it.
Oh
That's
yeah,
that's
that's
what I
right. That's
heard.
right.
Yeah, no. No, I enjoyed the movie very much. I saw it like around when Oscar nominations were being dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least like actually it might have been on the day of the Golden Globes was when I saw this, like when they were announcing their winners, because I'd seen it at an earlier time. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I liked it, and then we rewatched it for the Lone Screenplay Nominee Podcast show, and I figured,
Yeah.
yeah, and I was curious if nothing else to see how I would feel about it years later, because it's been a little over 2 years since it came out in theaters and garnered the Oscar buzz. I mean, we've already gone through at least a couple of ceremonies since the Oscar win for this. And lately we've had films age better or for worse over the last couple of years, and weird enough, I actually found this aged a little bit better for me in
Oh
terms
yeah.
of my reaction. Like, I still enjoyed it overall. I'm not enthusiastically in love with it or head over heels with it, but if nothing else, watching it again, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a reason why this got a lot of critical attention and critical acclaim from audiences and critics alike.
Was just
But yeah, but we'll get into the award section later on in the show. But yeah, as far as the film itself goes, I like it. I think the performances are pretty good. Like everyone's giving a good performance in the film. I do like some of the more comedic elements of the film, especially that on the satirical point it makes about authors having to sort of stoop down a little bit in order to
Yeah.
gain a bit of profit, and even the idea of exploiting the African American community, which I it's funny because we talked about it on our main show on the Patreon show on Precious, Roberto and I mentioned how on that show I wasn't the biggest. I'm starting to get really sick and tired of these like poverty stricken you know, fetishy type movies um, that create these types of stories that really, at the end of the day, don't really service anyone at all. Like they think in my opinion, I think they're trying to do something that is changing something that's changing the way that we look at said story, but it's like no, you're kind of exploiting the story and I don't like it at all. And it's funny how this film in a way it did comment on that in a very funny way.
It
It's
kinda makes fun of it too, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also in particular there's one of the great or one of the great visual gags from the movie was it was involving the what was it? I'm trying to look through. You're watching the Black Stories month on WHN, and you see a whole montage of like Boys in the Hood. It was like Boys in the Hood, Straight Outta Compton, Precious. You see like I think I saw like Chris Rock smoking weed, and there's like a gun shootout in like Training Day, and all and all with this like very like piano soft spoken music, music playing throughout. And I just thought it was so funny watching that. I'm like, hey, look at that. Nice. That's great. Yeah. Um, but yeah, no, the satirical elements do work for me really well. I don't know about the family elements themselves. I do think that does work okay enough. Like obviously all the actors here have good chemistry with each other, but I don't know if I'm that sucked into the family dynamic of these characters, even though the actors themselves are doing a really good job.
They're mainly meant to complement, like, Monk's internal, like, conflict, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, and it does. Yeah, and I should also point out, uh, who is it? Jeffrey Wright, who's very good in the movie,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm very grateful that he got a role like this because it not only showcases him as a leading man. I mean, he's been I'm pretty sure he's been a leading man before, but nothing of the like to have this kind of positive notoriety of like, oh wow, like look at him
Yeah.
in like in a big awards player, but also it just shows off some of his comedic chops. Like he can be very funny in
He
some of
has a
his line
lot of great
delivery.
comedic timing, man.
Yeah, like any scenes you want to point out in particular
Oh, yeah, like,
for him?
the beginning.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
with him and being
that student.
suspended. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when they, and then, like, afterwards, when the teachers are, like, confronting him about it, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I could just tell she was a Nazi." Or not a Nazi, but, like, her family were former Nazis or something. He
Yeah.
was like, "By the way, she was squirmy, she was."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just the way he, like, says it.
Yeah, and even the I won't mention the slur on here, but
Fuck yeah.
the term he says on the
Yeah.
board, and it offends a white girl, and he's like, I think if I can get over this, you can too. And she's like, well, I don't think I can.
Yeah,
And then
that.
you have that look like, okay, well, let me just switch on the dials
Yeah.
and go in cynical, angry mode. And that was also a great moment because you never really see or hear what exactly he said to the kid, or to the student, I should say, because because he's teaching in college. Um, yeah, that was a great moment. And even other elements throughout the film, like when he's on the phone with John Ortiz with him in the office, and they're trying to get the book sale going through. Like I thought Jeffrey Wright was really good with that, where he's like, "Yeah, you think that bitch ass white college boy wrote this shit?" And they're
Dude,
like,
like,
"No, no, 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 he didn't."
he
No,
could, like, do the voice, like, on a, like, dime, man, like, he could flip it on a dime, it's, like, so good.
yeah,
This is, like, probably my favorite performance from his, and he's given, like, a lot of great performances throughout his career, but man, I I have a hard time seeing him, like, top this. but he should be given more lead roles because man, he can lead a movie, like,
Yeah.
very confidently.
I'm very appreciative of the fact that this film is what got him more roles, like more
Mhm.
notable roles. Like he's been in, what was it? He came back to reprise his role essentially in the Last of Us show from the game. Um, but I appreciate the fact that he was able to do something. Like it's because of this movie that he's more well known. It's like he's an Oscar nominee, and whether we like the Oscars or not, it's like, hey, this kind of shit matters. So we get
Yeah.
character actors out there in the world and like, hey, now you're consistently popping up in things, and it's like, here's your Oscar nomination. Now you have a chance to be hired on a lot easier, hopefully, in better roles. You know, maybe one day down the road you might get an Oscar down the road. We don't know. You know, who knows? I did think it was funny though. Speaking of Oscar winners, they mentioned how the publishing book, the people who wanted to buy the book rights, they wanted on the cover of
Yeah.
pathology, Michael B. Jordan with do
Yeah.
rag with the
Yeah,
muscle shirt
yep.
on him, and I just thought, huh, it's really funny that we're recording this like months after, or at least almost 2 months after Michael B. Jordan just won his Oscar. So
Yes.
that's interesting.
For the book adaptation, by the way.
I'm sorry.
For the book adaptation of this, by the way.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah,
writing this.
yeah. And one of the John Ortiz even said like Wiley thinks that this could be some sort of Oscar bait contender if we turned the book into something. And I'm like, huh, yeah. I mean, it does kind of show a little bit how dated the book is, but also how relevant it is too. Because they mentioned, Russell Crowe, like him and his muscle arms when the sister passes away, and she writes in her like last words to be said as they're throwing her cremation into the ocean. And it's like, yeah, you could definitely tell this is a book made from the early 2000s because Russell Crowe does not look like what he was 20, 30 years ago.
No, 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 no. I watched it, I think, God, it had to have been on a Friday, and I just loved it even more. I love, but there's like a certain irony because this ended up becoming an award success, even though it critiques awards culture.
Yeah,
And
and like
also,
even some of the writers who are there's a subplot in the story where Monk is being hired on to diversify, because that's what the guy said, and he's like, oh, okay, great, and he's like practically like putting his hand around his palm on his face, like, oh god, Jesus, really, like you had to say it so bluntly, okay. And he's like, sure, why not, let's do it. And one of the writers mentions how they're like, I don't like this idea of art being judged the way it is. And it's like, well, why are you on here on the board? And it's like, well, because I don't want to give some other uh wannabe writer attention on this. I'd rather it be me. I'd be the one that votes on this kind of shit. So I thought that was funny. Even when they're voting on the word fuck, which is the book,
yeah,
they're voting for that to be the winner, and they're like, well, it's 3-2, and and the only two people are the other writer. I'm blanking on her name right now, but it's her and Jeffrey Wright, and
yeah, Issa Rae's character.
that's who it was, Issa Rae.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, I actually, okay, I gotta say, what was also satisfying about this too was when we got to the book meet or the book presentation fair that they're at in the beginning of the film. This is like in the first 10-15 minutes, I believe. And we see Thelonious walk he's in the background, listening to Issa Rae's character, um, who was Centaura. Centaura is the character.
Mm.
And we hear her do her little interview spiel for her book, and then do like an excerpt reading of the book, and then all the white people in the group are all applauding, and they're like, yes, that was the bravest thing ever. And I'm like, huh, so this is what it must have felt like if I had witnessed Precious in the moment at the Oscars when all that was going
Or
down.
like at fucking what TIFF, where people are like, "Oh my god,
Oh
I
yeah,
love."
with
And this comes from somebody who loves Precious, but we can acknowledge there are some things you just have to acknowledge, and
yeah,
and I mean there is a certain truth in when it comes to black stories, on what gets rewarded and what gets the most attention, and it's usually ones that involve like a lot of struggle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I just I just love how it critiques that culture, man. Like
Yeah.
like Hollywood, publishing, awards culture. And it also like critiques Monk to an extent. I'm sure we
Yeah.
can agree there.
Even
Like,
even the idea of him having to realize of like, okay, I actually do need to somewhat, sell out in order to get not only my financial bills made for whatever
mhm,
personal reasons. In the case of Monk, it's to get his mother into a good nursing home and to make sure that all the bills are paid off and things like that. Um, and he's also, and for other people, it may be the fact that, hey, I want to get this personal project of mine that I want to get off the ground that no one wants to finance.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like even Monk wants to get a book of his that's very educational, but also like rich and deep and complex. And his agent is like, look, man, no one wants to buy this book, and it's not
Even though
that
it's like
it's
really, really good,
yeah,
there's just like not a lot of interest in it, and it really mirrors real world stereotypes as well as it also exposes like our complicity to that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, and he does a good job, and Cord Jefferson does a pretty good job with that aspect of the story really well. And what I was very impressed with was the fact that this is his, screenwriting feature film debut. Like he does a
Yeah.
good job establishing essentially following the like somewhat of like the Sid Field's screenwriting tips from the book that we had to read in film school, and even some of the like save the cat elements as well, which he does a good job with. Um, and I do have to laugh a little bit though at the uh you know it, I know it's pretty fucked up and dark, but that like when Monk is creating all those like potential endings for the film or for the potential like movie to be made or story to be made, and he's like, let me end it on a cliffhanger, let me end it on him meeting up with his girl and apologizing, and then and he's like, well, we could try, and then it's the FBI and all the
Yeah,
cops coming
yeah.
in, and they're all shooting him, and this like over dramatic opera music playing, and he gets shot up on stage. And then Adam Brody's character's like, dude, they smoked him. And he's like, yes, we got a movie. Get your finest tux. And then immediately Monk says the title of his book and he goes, fuck. You know, like I thought that was great. Like
No, it's so good.
even the other like even Adam Brody's character I thought was pretty funny, like when they're at the dinner table, and and in the you see this in the trailer too, where he's like, so I heard you went to prison, what was it, murder? He goes, you said that, not me. So I thought that was great. And yeah. Um and actually another a character we're not bringing up, I don't know if it's because you're waiting for me to jump on it or what, or
I
maybe
think
you might have forgotten it.
I
Sterling
think
K.
I know.
Brown.
Yep. No, no, I didn't forget.
Okay, I
I
was
didn't,
wondering. So
I
so
didn't
you go
forget. He's
ahead. You
great.
mentioned what you liked about that character, or if
Dude,
there's anything you
he's
enjoyed about him.
great in this.
Yeah.
Similar to Jeffrey Wright, I know Sterling K. Brown is known mostly for dramas, especially This Is Us and
Oh, that's
Paradise.
right.
But my God, his comedic timing is mwah. Oh,
Yeah.
love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I think he got like the biggest laughs out of me. Oh man, there's just so much in my brain like I want to say right now, but God, he's just so good.
Yeah.
I know. Why did you bring him up? Because I know you have a lot to say.
Well, I will say in terms of all the characters written in the film, and I do like Monk as a character. I actually do, and a lot of it does come from Jeffrey Wright's character. And
Hmm.
even though Sterling K. Brown, it is very much a, you know, in a weird way, critiquing on some of the issues that I'm starting to realize. I'm like, okay, it's becoming well, it's already been a pattern for a while of straight actors playing gay.
Hmm.
And it's very much something that I'm like, yeah, this is definitely becoming a common thing on film for a while, and people are, well, no, duh, Matt, it's been around for since before you've been born. I get that, but I actually do like Sterling K. Brown's character a lot. He's got a lot of funny quips. In fact, in the middle of the movie, I was just writing a lot of his quips
Let's
You
hear
know,
it.
like
Let's hear it.
like when he says, I gave Lorraine's, Lorraine's the housekeeper, helper of their mom. And he's like, I gave Lorraine something to help her sleep. Mother's taking a bath and I'm going to douse her too. Just the way he delivered that was just very coldly.
No,
And I
like
thought,
his
wow.
delivery is just isn't so good.
Yeah. And he even had, I would argue, one of the better lines of the film for me, which was enemies see each other better than friends. And I'm like, I got to admit, for a movie that's very much, it's not quite diving deep into these issues or ideas that the film is dealing with, not just with the social satire and the social commentary on how African Americans are being displayed in literature and other mediums, but also with the family elements. Like, it's very much surface level for sure, but I gotta say that line was actually kind of deep. I thought, like, good on you, Cord Jefferson. Because I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that line, and I'm like, that was good writing.
When it comes to the screenplay, I mean, to be honest, it's not exactly subtle. It's deliberately exaggerated.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it works for the movie though.
that's
Like
the thing. It does work. It's not. I'm not like that's not a con for me.
yeah, like even the idea of having this be, the fact that it was able to, in a way, find that balance of catering towards a general public audience to where your folks or my folks could just watch it and have a great time watching it. I'm pretty sure my grandma has already seen this as when it came out
Hmm.
on Amazon a while ago, and she enjoyed it. She really liked it, especially the ending. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, so all the more reason why, like a movie like this being told in the manner it's approaching, it's like it works. There is a success behind it. Um and yeah, and I also want to mention too about John Ortiz, who does a good job in the film too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
One of the lines that he said, that just the way he delivered the line was great, was when Monk comes into the office for the first time in the film, and we see them talk to each other in person, and John Ortiz is just pacing around his office with his hands in his pocket, and he goes, there you are. And I'm like, like, if I were in Monk's shoes, I'd be like, okay, what did you do? What did you do? Because usually whenever you hear someone say like, oh, there you are, and you're like, oh, he did something that he's not proud of. And I love his reaction where he's like, we sold your book, and he's like, no.
Yeah, I
He's
love
like,
that. He's like,
yeah.
no.
Yeah. And even the going back to the writing, the Johnny Walker analogy is really good too. Like with the idea of like, here's the blue one, here's the red bottle, and here's the black bottle, and I really like how that's in of itself, like it very much is, like we said before, tied into a lot of these like it ties into the message of the movie. Like sometimes you have to sell out and you have to simplify your stories down so a broader audience could appreciate it and you get more eyes on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
And I also loved Jeffrey's comment where he's like, do we drink now? After he brings up that whole analogy with the Johnny Walker. I thought that was good. uh Even some of the lines John Ortiz says where he's like, Monk's like, well, what if there's editors, what if these publishers have editors out there that'll find out that the Stag RLE guy isn't existent, doesn't exist. And he goes, there's barely any money to pay editors anymore. And I thought that was good.
Yeah. No. Also, I'm surprised we didn't mention it. It's clear everybody in the cast has a deep, deep, deep love for the material here.
Oh yeah, like
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think many of these people would want to work on a film like this.
Especially with the first time like director. I did. Cord Jefferson wrote for Succession, right? That's where he got his like because I know he mainly wrote for TV before he did movies, and I
That's
think he wrote for Succession.
Let me check, because this is something. It's funny, yeah, because you would think with my research I would have known.
I was gonna say professional podcast over here, by the way.
Yeah, oops. So he wrote Watchmen. Well, it's TV stuff, so I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Unless like a big known TV writer, but yeah, he did Watchmen, the miniseries. He did Succession. He was a consultant on Succession. That's why.
Got okay, okay.
And he was involved with The Good Place, for 2 seasons, or 25 episodes, I should say. Masters of None, he helped on.
Masters of None. Okay.
Uh, The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore. I have no idea who this. Okay, gotcha. All right, so that's interesting. Yeah, and by the way, also this is his only time he has ever been like. It's his only movie he's done so far. Like he's done a
Yeah.
writing credit on Welcome to Derry, but that's about it. Like he hasn't done anything since then, which is so weird.
It it really is. I think especially for black filmmakers it is genuinely difficult to get funding for your next film. But
That's
you
true.
think because like across the board this was a relative success, no?
Yeah, like
Or, like you'd be surprised, yeah.
it did well at the box office, which we'll get into shortly.
As well as on Amazon, I imagine, especially after one best screenplay at the
Yeah,
Oscars, you like yeah, it's very odd that we haven't even heard of anything in development.
yeah. I'm looking through because for the record, there's other notes on here that I did want to address with the
Oh
film.
yeah, no, like I have
Um,
like a shit ton of notes.
yeah. So for well, I do want to mention uh so I mentioned before the the satirical elements of the film are very funny. And one thing I'd be curious to know about it, speaking of the writing itself, I would love to know how much of the film is close to the book Erasure, because I'm told that there are a lot of significant changes to the book,
Yes.
one of which involved the sister getting killed. Like she gets killed in like a robbery gone wrong at the hospital, whereas in the movie she dies from a heart attack. Which I mean it was a little bit strange in the movie, but I thought to myself, well, I mean, then again, she the film does address her as like a chain smoker of sorts, or he
Yeah.
used to chain smoke. And there probably have been a lot, though there definitely have been a lot of cases of people dying from heart attacks at that young of an age. I don't She wasn't in her 80s or anything, but at the same time it's like
Yeah,
she
it
looked
happens like
fine.
so sudden yeah, it's like so random too. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. um but yeah, what were some notes you wanted to bring up about the movie?
Ooh, putting me on the spot. I see, I see.
Yeah.
No, some other notes that I noticed is that I loved how at least Cord Jefferson uses kind of like a dual narrative structure. You know, Monk's real life is there's like a lot here. Sorry, sorry, I'm blanking because I'm going based off memory. Hold on, let me get my
Okay.
notes up.
Yeah, sure.
But I feel like with Monk's real life, okay, here we go. With Monk's real life, especially with family and his own relationships and the absurd rise of his fake book, I feel like they kind of complement each other because they both build towards a climax that forces Monk to confront his own hypocrisy. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
well,
was
yeah, of
very
course.
scared you wouldn't
Yeah,
agree.
what? Yeah, like we were like after a disagreement on Precious, and then
Yeah.
our like reactions to Cider House, we'd be like, yeah, we disagree vastly on this. No, I agree with that because I
I
do
can now
think
put my
Monk.
notes away, thank God.
Yeah. But I do think Monk does, like, he is a very cynical character all throughout. He's a very prickly character. Um, but
Oh, yeah, like, he is written as very intellectually rigid, he's morally principled, he's emotionally guarded,
mhm,
he's right, but he's also very flawed, and I love how the film really emphasizes that just because he's right, it doesn't mean he's, like, right, you know? He's a very
yeah.
flawed person.
Well, I mean, he is played by Mr. Right, so
That is shit, I didn't think of that, yeah, that's
maybe he is right.
yeah,
And when he's
that's why they
wrong,
got
he's
him.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that anyways. But yeah, no, yeah, like it does. I think again that element of the story is the most, like it does a good job with what it's doing. Like I wouldn't say it's like the best part of the film, but it's one where it's like that's where the film succeeds. Really, is that element. Now would I have preferred it a little bit more, um, deeper than what they're given to us? Sure, but at the same time, it's like if this is as broad as you can go while appealing to my my high opinions on certain things, I think you've done a good job with it. And yeah, like he again, Cord Jefferson does a good job with the movie. again, he's yeah, like he does a good job with it, and he's able to balance the um well, I wouldn't say like darker moments, but like more mature moments, and he handles it with the comedic elements really well. Again, there are
I mean, he knows how to balance comedy and drama. I mean, there's
mm,
a lot of genuine emotional stakes while adding a lot of biting satire. I mean, in my opinion, I think the family subplot kinda prevents it from being a one-note satire. I think it adds weight to, um, I'm blanking Monk, right? Monk's decisions.
yeah.
So, I think that really elevates the movie beyond its pure industry parody.
I will say though, if I do have any, I guess I don't know if it's like major gripes, but if I had any gripes with the film, is that I do wish because I did notice on a rewatch, and especially on my first time around, I thought the pacing for it was a little bit tedious here and there. Like it's still
Hmm,
engaging enough for me,
mhm.
but I noticed on this watch, I was like, okay, I don't have as much of an issue whenever the film fluctuates between the satirical elements, the social commentary on this whole funny, fake name Stag Arley subplot. And when it jumps to the family, because I remembered I had that problem the first time around, but this time I was like, no, I'm okay with it for the most part. It's just how it's paced.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah,
little bit
yeah.
of an issue with that. But it
I
still does a good
personally
job.
didn't I personally didn't mind it, so
Yeah. And I do wish the because I do feel like the monk character interacting with I'm looking up the actress's name on here. Who was the person's name? Not the sister, but it was Coraline. I thought their relationship, like there's, and it almost makes me wonder whether or not how much of the book really explores that relationship with Monk and Coraline. I mean, for all we know, Coraline could just be created for the movie or a composite of other characters. We don't know.
mhm,
At least
mhm.
I haven't read the book, so
Yeah,
I
me
apologize.
neither, yeah.
We apologize, dear listeners. But I almost wonder. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that frustration that Monk and Coraline had with each other when he finds out, oh, she's reading the book Fuck as well. And because I feel like that's a good moment, but it's almost like it's too short. And it's
Yeah, I definitely could see that.
like I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a build up because when he snaps at her at the nursing home about, what are you, my bookkeeper? It's like, I don't know, man. That seems a bit too abrupt. Like I get it,
Mhm,
you're dealing with a lot of emotions here and there with like, your brother seeing their mother who has early stages of Alzheimer's, but I don't know. It just seemed like for you to snap at her, it just seemed like a little bit out of the blue. Um,
mm,
and I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that relationship built up. I mean, not build up, but like that sort of potential rift between the two. I wish there was a little bit more to it.
yeah, of course, of course.
Um, but outside of that, though, I mean, yeah, the rest of the film is still good. I like the comedic elements of the film. Sterling K. Brown is very funny. Like anytime he pops up, even when I saw it in theaters, I'm like, oh, I can't wait. Yeah, let's see how this character is gonna fuck up things
He's
for Monk.
he's
You know,
right, he's so good, I love him.
um, yeah, and like we said, Sterling K. Brown is Sterling K. Brown and Jeffrey Wright are both really good in the movie. So yeah, they
Yeah, and they
do a really good
rightfully
job.
got their, Oscar nominations.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yeah. So yeah, any other final thoughts on the movie itself you want to talk about before we jump into the awards discussion?
Any final thoughts? Ooh, no, I think I am ready for that awards discussion.
Okay.
I think I'm ready to go into the deep end, okay? We
All
were in the
right.
kiddie pool long enough, okay?
All right. Here we go. So let me crack my fingers. Anyways, okay. Because Roberto knows what's coming.
I do. Uh,
All right, so let me get through this first. So, American Fiction premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival, where it won the People's Choice Prize or Choice Award for there was their top prize there, and made its way through the film festival circuit that included the Middleburg Film Festival and AFI Fest. The film was also did a limited theatrical run for December 15th, 2023, and expanded to more theaters over the next month. It was also nominated for various awards, awards, accolades. They're the same. That include 2 Golden Globe nominations, 5 Critics' Choice nominations, 3 Screen Actors Guild nominations, 4 Independent Spirit Awards, and 5 Academy Award nominations, which include Picture, Actor, Supporting Actor, Adapted Screenplay, which it won the category, and Original Score. In the adapted screenplay category, it went up against surprising. I actually forgot how solid this competition was, but it
Yeah.
was it was up against Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. So Roberto,
All right.
Roberto Tyler Ortiz,
All right.
how do you think American Fiction won this Oscar for adapted screenplay?
Well, um, well,
I'm giving them the
he's
cold death stare in case for our listeners who
he is.
are wondering why he's
That's why
laughing.
I can't I can't answer because like I
I
mean
look away.
they're down. No, no, you can look. It's fine. Um, really, it's simple. Out of all of these, I would say besides Barbie, this is like the bigger crowd pleaser. I think this adaptation feels really original. I guess you could say the same thing about Barbie and Poor Things, but they were actual like at least Barbie we already knew about. Poor Things, it was kind of like Frankenstein, but this has like a clear thematic voice. There's like a lot of strong character work, and it balances. I guess there's like a lot of depth with accessibility because to be honest, there was a lot you could with Barbie and Poor Things, there was a lot of people who didn't like it. But with American Fiction across the board, people were all like, "Dude, this is good. Like
Yeah.
we really like it." So I think this was probably I don't know how much flack will get, but I guess this is kind of the more accessible out of all of these, even though most of the nominees here are accessible, like really accessible. Like the audience scores are like probably in the 90s or 80s, right?
Actually, let me check up real quick. I know, well, obviously Oppenheimer got really good
Yeah, but
reactions.
Oppenheimer just wasn't the reason why Oppenheimer didn't win is because people were more focused on giving director to Nolan, you know?
Yeah,
So, like, people weren't like, "Okay, we have to give a screenplay."
yeah. Like he was very much the Anthony Minghella for English Patient situation, where it's like we like the vision of the director rather than the way you adapted the
Yes,
story.
yes. Even though the way Nolan adapts this is really unique because the
Yeah,
screenplay is literally from, Oppenheimer's point of view. It's literally him describing what he's seeing, and that's, like, really cool, but Nolan just wanted director. That's what he mainly campaigned on.
yeah, and well, and also we have to bring up too at the time that the writers, these people that were writing their screenplays, could not campaign as writers. They had to campaign as the directors
Mhm.
because this was around when we had not only the Screen Actors Guild strike going on, but also the Writers Guild strike going on too.
Yeah, yeah.
So that forbade any and all of these people to talk about their work as a writer specifically. So Cord Jefferson had to go out there as the director and talk about the movie. Christopher Nolan had to go out there as the director to talk
That's
about the
right, yeah,
movie.
that's right.
He couldn't really talk about the mechanics and how he got the script adapted specifically until the strike was over. Um, so it allowed, and that's all the more reason why directors who write their own screenplays tend to win a lot more often than sole writers on it. I mean, we've had a few here and there over the last couple of years, like
Conclave.
Conclave. Yep, Conclave was just Peter Strawn didn't direct it. What else was there? Call Me by Your Name was another one as well.
Yeah, which is
Um,
crazy because like, the guy who I'm blanking on his name, but he's a well-known director, and he
James Ivory.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, when I found out he's the one who wrote it, I was like, "Really?" Because he usually directs what he writes, but
yeah. That I think we talked a little bit about that on the episode a while back. But there was like a whole issue with the loans as to why he couldn't co-direct.
okay.
Yeah, there was like a whole issue with that. Um, and then yeah, so it made a lot of sense as to why Cord Jefferson won the Oscar. I mean, so anyway, so All right, so Roberto, here we go. Put him up against the wall, Sergeant, and point the guns at him. We're doing a firing squad on you. Um, so as I mentioned countless times, again and again, I even mentioned this on the Precious episode too, is that most times when your film is winning festival prizes, it helps your chances at winning some kind of Oscar. Like, yeah, Hamnet we saw this last year didn't win the adapted screenplay Oscar, which okay, fine, I'll accept defeat on that. I'll admit, but it still won something at the end of the day.
And also, to be fair, Paul Thomas, it was literally the time
Yeah,
where people were like, "We gotta give it everything to Paul Thomas Anderson."
yeah,
Like,
because
yeah,
we don't give him this Oscar, we might never get it again. Yeah,
yeah, and, like, he's just so well known on both the writing and directing side that there was just this passion to just give, like, all 3 to him, like, picture, director, screenplay.
and that
Like,
was also another crowd pleasing movie that everyone was able to appreciate. Even people who aren't usually a big PTA fan, the worst they would be like, yeah, like it was all right, I guess.
yeah,
Um,
like, that's, like, the thing, and also, we also have to mention, he did a sweep unlike anything we've ever seen before, like, sweeping 3 categories, right? Paul Thomas
uh,
Anderson?
well, it's well,
Or 2, at least 2.
yeah, well, yeah. I think he did it at Critics' Choice, the Golden Globes, BAFTA, and Oscars. Yeah, I don't think that's ever happened
Yeah.
before. Because even Peter Jackson for Return of the King, and I'll probably talk more about that on my Patreon down the road. Even he had lost the director BAFTA to Peter Weir for Master and Commander, and the BAFTAs are not known for giving out trifecta awards. They
Yeah, so
between them and the Oscars, BAFTAs are usually the ones that split up their prizes.
so it was, like, a really big deal that Paul Thomas Anderson just had no problem sweeping not only
Yeah,
1, but, like, 2 at least 2 prizes
yeah,
consistently.
which was
So,
strange.
yeah. Anyway,
But yeah,
continue.
so American Fiction had won like a shit ton of awards, and even that year too, we saw the holdovers win a lot of festival prizes as well. And it's like you're winning this many prizes, you tend not to go home on Oscar night with nothing,
Yes.
unless there's like some sort of backlash or campaigning really just it didn't turn into anything at all. Like I'm trying to even think when was the last time we had a film win a lot of awards prizes at festivals and just got nothing at the Oscars. Like
I
I'm
can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Like I understand we had stuff like The Secret Agent win really well at the Cannes Film Festival, but I'm talking like consistently at other
Mhm.
film festivals, it kept winning prizes, and
No
go
other
home with
trace?
nothing. But I'm trying to even think of any. But anyways, um, so yeah, so it helped that so yeah, win a lot of festival prizes. It helps your chances in the writing category, or you get a chance at winning something in for your film. And the Academy love the satirical films, as evident by the previous screenplay winners we've seen. In a way, One Battle After Another is a satire of sorts,
Yeah.
which won the adapted screenplay prize. Birdman was a satirical movie, which won the original screenplay prize. Like it's happened. Movies that are very much critiquing on a certain subject matter or are satirizing it in a way that's like very much appeals to the mass audience, I guess, or to like
Yeah.
the highbrow minded of the Academy, I should say. But yeah, like that was it. And then even the fact that even even the fact that this managed to win the BAFTA as its sole nomination,
Yeah.
which
So
I believe I was one of the only few lucky fuckers out there to have called it.
no, he did. It was, I think, a few days before the BAFTA awards, and he sent me his predictions, and he had American Fiction winning, and
Yeah.
I was, like, very blunt. I was like, "Dude, that's not gonna happen. Why are you
I
doing
was
that?"
like, are you sure about that?
I was
Because
like, "Yes, it's
yeah,
gonna be 4 things, dude."
yeah, because even looking through the adapted lineup for BAFTA, like, yeah, they've had a couple of categories they've been switching to other films on and off, like All Quiet on the Western Front, but like, what was the film? Women Talking wasn't even nominated there at BAFTAs. They went for Theory of Everything, but it's like, yeah, but they love Stephen Hawking. They love Stephen Hawking as who he is in Britain. Philomena, it's like, yeah, but that's a British. They love those kind of stories.
Mhm.
About that kind of story. So it made sense. Even Silver Linings Playbook won the BAFTA there, and Argo lost. And it's like, well, Argo wasn't particularly that strong of a contender in the adapted screenplay category. It just managed to win because it was also going to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
Um, so it made a lot of sense as to why everything was going to come in the way it was. And, even I have to admit, even though I'm very happy and I always toot my own horn and, uh, have everyone kiss my ass on American Fiction winning
Very
just
well
BAFTA.
put.
Not literally, of course, figuratively. But like, even I'm still surprised that American Fiction won the BAFTA with just that. Like, no
Yeah.
acting nominations, no director, no score, no picture, nothing. Um, but I am very happy. I called it. It's like just a long shot in the dark that just happened to work out.
Yeah, hold on. Why?
What? Why did I predict it?
Why'd you yeah. Like
Well, like I said, because the BAFTA had a consistent. They've been very consistent with what the Academy had usually gone for, but also too, I just thought Zone of Interest just felt okay. I haven't seen All of Us Strangers, so taking that out of aside, also wasn't in the Oscar conversation, unfortunately,
mhm.
because of Barbie switching from original to adapted. Otherwise, I really do think All of Us Strangers would have gotten into
Oh,
adapted,
wait, no,
right?
Killers of the Flower Moon would have gotten that.
Okay, so all right, so
Yeah.
regardless, so Kills of the Flower Moon was was number 6 or 7. So you take All of Us Strangers out for a moment. Then you have Zone of Interest, which I thought that's more of a directorial achievement that doesn't feel like a writer achievement kind of story.
Well,
Um,
'cause the there's very minimal dialogue in the movie.
yeah, and
Yeah.
what it's doing a pretty good job with it. And it just shows you
Oh,
how much
yeah.
they love the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but you had that, you had Oppenheimer, which it always felt to me until we saw Sinners and One Battle After Another, where I'm like, you need to have a festival run. Like, you need to have that festival run to get in for consideration to win screenplay. Um, and then we saw, okay, so it worked for Sinners and One Battle After Another.
Mhm.
But I still think that
Well,
that
even
method still
then,
applies.
one battle went to, Fantastic Fest.
Yeah, and yeah,
Yeah.
even then, it technically went to a film festival.
Yeah.
Even if it was days before it came out in theaters.
Yeah.
But outside of that, though, and then even with like Poor Things, which I thought, yes, it's possible for Poor Things to win adapted, but something about that always felt off to me. Like,
Really?
I don't know. There was something about it where I'm like, yeah, I get it that Tony McNamara already won a BAFTA before with them for The Favorite, but he doesn't seem like the kind of writer that would go out of it, that the BAFTAs would go out of their way to keep giving them prizes. Like, I'd have to look back to see if that's happened before, where, and it probably has, honestly, where a writer just keeps winning their prizes regardless if they win their Oscar or not. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It just seemed really odd that Poor Things was going to win adapted screenplay with BAFTA, but not win the Oscar. And then I also just thought to myself, okay, well, I'm predicting it. I'm predicting American Fiction to win the adapted screenplay Oscar. Okay. And I have to do some sort of like simple gymnastics. And I think around this time, didn't we get like USC Scripter Awards were announced and they gave
I
it
think
to
so,
American
yeah.
Fiction? Okay. So already, and I sure as shit knew it was winning WGA. But the WGAs were after the Oscars, so yeah. But I just knew that American Fiction was going to win with that crowd because, as we mentioned before, Cord Jefferson is a TV writer. So I don't know. It just all came together where it's like like my gut feeling told me in the moment, predict American Fiction. Do not listen to the crowd. For some reason, I feel like there's going to be a major upset here, and American Fiction was going to be it, regardless of the fact that it just got in for that category. I mean, even Coda a couple years ago managed to win the adapted screenplay award at BAFTA over everyone thinking Power of the Dog was going to do it.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and yeah, and I don't know. Like I said, it was, uh, would this have been my personal favorite or personal pick of the category? Maybe not for American Fiction, but I'm fine with it winning the adapted screenplay Oscar. Like, it's not a bad win.
Oh,
Um,
hell, yeah, definitely not.
like,
Um,
yeah,
no, it's a very worthy win in my humble opinion.
yeah. Like, I'm okay with this winning personally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm really happy for the other nominations it got. I mean, picture, I'm like, sure, why not? Jeffrey Wright, I was like, sure, yeah, okay. Sterling K. Brown, which I was very happy of. Even
Yes.
though I will admit, speaking of having egg on my face, I will admit I doubted Downey Jr.'s chances at the Oscar win until like December, I think, where I was like, no, 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 no. I think
I
Sterling K.
remember.
Brown might win this because for some reason my brain couldn't wrap around how easy the Best Picture prediction was going to be when I saw Oppenheimer in theaters. I knew director had it in the bag, but I was like, I don't know about picture. I don't know,
A
guys. This
lot
is
of people were doubting it until we got to, like, November, because
yeah,
after Poor Things premiered, people were like, "Oh, there's our picture winner.
and
It's
it's
Poor
like, nope.
Things." But I was like, "No, it's
Yeah,
Oppenheimer, bro."
yeah. And American Fiction did. I do think in another year. So if we took Oppenheimer out of the equation, I do feel like the battle might have been between American Fiction and Poor Things for picture. Potentially.
I don't know about American Fiction. Poor Things definitely, but
Yeah, Poor Things definitely would have been up there for sure.
ooh, I
Because
don't know
that
about
was like the runner up for sure.
I don't know about that, but
I mean,
I mean with American Fiction, not Poor Things.
yeah. I mean, like I said, it won the BAFTA for adapted screenplay over Poor Things. It won all the other adapted, all the adapted screenplay prizes. Like, sure, it did. It was a consolation for the film itself. I'll
Mhm.
give you that. But there's something about it where I'm like, I wonder if that was in a running for top 3 prizes. I don't know. But regardless, it's a fun race, and there's nothing else. It was just a sign that really, boosted my ego of like, I know how to predict this adapted screenplay race on the night of. You
Well,
know, because yeah, whoa, wow, what a shock.
no, I was gonna say, well, usually when it comes to adapted, things are not to sound rude, but they're pretty spelled out once we get there.
Yeah,
But
oh
yeah.
sure. Yeah. But even early on in the race, because even I remembered when I was listening to the Next Best Picture podcast, and I was listening to them talk about American Fiction potentially winning adapted screenplay in like November that year. And I was in Hawaii. And I was
Mm.
thinking to myself, right then and there, I immediately stopped in my tracks. I was like Usual Suspects with Chaz Palminteri, where he drops the cup of coffee. And I was like, oh my God, I need to make this switch right now and do adapted screenplay. Because I knew that winning the TIFF Audience Prize, I'm like, this means something, guys. Like this seems really weird that this won the prize, but I guess not really. Like if it had won the TIFF Audience Prize and not become an awards contender like Life of Chuck, then I'd be like, that
Yeah.
was really strange. How the hell did it do that? But because it became an awards contender, it made sense why it won the TIFF Audience Prize.
Hmm.
You know, so
Now you brought up Life of Chuck, now I'm thinking like, damn, you really that poor movie.
yeah, I
Damn.
mean, yeah, that's I don't know what happened with that. I mean, Neon also had other contenders on their hands, and
They but man, like it was really poised at the time once it won TIFF People's Choice. It was
yeah, and
really
then
like
once they pushed it
people
the next
thought
year, it's like, well, okay, back to Honora.
it's great, but like people thought, okay, this is Mark Hamill's time, this is Mike Flanagan's time, and then Neon thought, how about we just release it in the summer? Like,
Yeah,
damn,
but
damn, damn,
yeah,
damn.
yeah. So going back to supporting actor, yes, I will admit. I did think Sterling K. Brown could pull it off, but at the very least, I predicted him to get into the field of 5.
Yeah, I mean,
So
you have that going for you, and you had that since like October.
yeah,
And
and
I
even
kept telling you, I was like, "What do you know? He's not." And I, even after I saw it, I was like, "Yeah, he's good, but he's not winning this." I
yeah,
was so confused.
yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, in a way, I mean, my ego can get me in trouble and put everything on the line, and
We
sometimes
all
it works.
have bad predictions, man.
I,
Especially, especially me.
well, speaking of good predictions, I also want to talk about another category which we didn't even mention at all in our review. I just realized
Sure.
as we're talking about it, score. Yeah.
Yep.
So would you care to explain to our audience what happened there, how it got into score?
You know what? You're the one who predicted it. I think you should.
Oh, you don't want to
Yeah.
guess? You don't want to give it a try? Okay, all right.
No, no, no. I know how, but you're the one who did it. I mean, would it make more
Yeah.
sense for you to do it? You know?
Yeah, because I actually forgot. Yeah, because this is
It
how
won
long.
I forgot the award it won, but it won a very specific award that if you win it, you usually go on to get nominated for Best Original Score, and it's
Well,
very
you get nominated for it, yeah, and it's like it doesn't. Okay, so I'm actually looking through. Oh God. Okay. So for some reason my phone's not working. Okay. Anyways, so so if I remember correctly, I was listening to Awards Watch, and one of their contributors brought up the fact that uh, it's very common for a film to get the Hollywood Music and Media Award and Society of Composer Lyricists nominations for your film. It's very common for you to get that combo and get into the field for original score. And I remembered at the time, I thought, maybe Zone of Interest and Across the Spider Verse could get into score. But then I realized, because I had just seen Zone of Interest, and I was driving on my way home, and I realized, wait a minute, when was the last time the Academy went for something that experimental like Zone of Interest and that
mhm,
cool? And I thought, nah, they're not going to do that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm putting Dial of Destiny back in,
yeah.
and then Across the Spider Verse is like, yeah, well, if I'm not putting Zone of Interest in, I love how I'm talking about this. Roberto's just shaking his head. He's banging his head on the bed. Like, damn it! Like, thank you for reliving my nightmares.
I know, I'm
Um,
so no, because you don't understand. He warned me about this, about at least Dial of Destiny, and I thought, "Yeah, he's right." So I took Spider-Man out of score and put Dial of Destiny, but then I thought, "No way, the Oscars are that fucking stupid to snub Spider-Verse." So I took it
yeah,
out because I thought, "No, that's dumb. They wouldn't do that." And then
and now we know, a couple of years removed from that ceremony, we know it's less to do with their bias towards animated films and more of an issue when it comes to electronic music, because we saw someone wrote a tweet about this. Oh God, I wish I had that in my memory banks. But it was like Across the Spider Verse missed. We had Challengers missed score, and there was some score this past year that had electronic music and missed the Oscar field. I can't remember what it was, but regardless, um, it was just something that again, I just thought, I don't know if they're going to be that cool and nominate a Spider Verse in the field. And I knew American Fiction was coming in strong. I knew that
yeah,
film was going to be really strong, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to predict this for score and let's see what happens. And my reaction on my YouTube page, I mean, Nico and
I
Zenny
love
were
your
there.
reaction. I love
Yeah,
your
like
reaction.
Nico and Zenny were there watching the whole thing, and Nico was like stunned. He couldn't believe what had happened. Almost like he had suffered, like almost like someone shot his puppy or something. And it's like, what the hell? And then Zenny was laughing his ass off because he's like, wow, he called it. Like, yeah, it's just it was great. I loved it. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, it was just that was my only logic as to why I felt American Fiction got into original score. Was because of that. And I mean, this past year I almost got 5 for 5 for score, but I was a bitch and I
It
I
was funny
switched
because
out
he's the
Wicked.
one who
I
he
switched
told
out
me
Begonia for Wicked.
he told me to put Begonia in. Then I listened, and then he took Begonia out. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? Don't."
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
told you. I was like, "Dude, listen to yourself.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
but yeah,
Begonia."
now I know though. It's like no, you stick with your guns. Like unless you're absolutely sure, like you have thought about it for over 24 hours, and you were like, I am dead set on this. Do not do it.
He says this, but he's gonna repeat. Every
It's gonna be
again.
like that every
That's
time.
every year
Yeah,
this happens. People are like, "Okay, well, we now know," and then they make the same mistake. It's
yeah.
weird. It's almost as if like every award season, people get that Men in Black flashbang,
The neuralizer.
the neuralizer. It's like crazy, and
Yeah,
I'm the only one immune to it.
yeah. I
And
mean,
then
again, it's like I said, it was just one of those things where it's like, holy shit, this is actually gonna happen.
yeah,
And yeah, but yeah, whatever. It is what it is though. I'm very happy that I I was able to crown the reigning champ of predicting adapted screenplay. Well, as of this recording, it'll be 10 years, by the way,
yeah, one.
since Moonlight, which is like holy shit. That's a category I'm definitely gonna glow about for next season. Be like, hey, you're talking to 10-time, predicting winner champ. Where it's because yeah, adapted screenplay has been a race where we've had some surprises here and there over the last couple of years. I mean, original screenplay provides more surprises if anything, but
We need to bring back when a movie could win an Oscar without winning any precursor. I want that. I want that to come back.
no, I don't want that. I don't want that
I
at
want
all.
that, dude. That's fun.
No. No, I mean we already have casting. Now we have the cinematography upset with Sinners. I'm like I'm good.
Oh
I
yeah,
I don't
shit. I
I
say that, yeah. Like,
I
yeah, that literally happened.
I don't need any more upsets.
Wait,
Of
Honora did that, right? With film editing?
yeah,
Yeah. Haha. I
and
predicted that.
I learned my lesson from that real quick. It's like, okay, you go with the best picture winner, or you go with the sound winner.
Yeah.
Any other film is in last place. What was that line from Talladega Nights? If you ain't first, you're
You're
last.
last. Yes, sir. Yes,
So,
sir.
um, but yeah. Other than that, yeah, no, that's all I really have to say about American Fiction. I enjoyed the movie. I'm glad about the awards prospects it got. If nothing else, it kind of opened my eyes once again to be like, hey Matt, you're not going crazy. You're not going loco with you don't need to
Yeah.
be sent to a mental institution when it comes to these like screenplay races. It's like you know what you're doing. Trust your gut and don't listen to the crowd unless they're actually giving you useful information.
It's funny. That's just easier said than done. Like,
Well, the screenplay categories, I will say, I've been able to get pretty well. I think it's like 3 years in a row now. I've been able to get original and adapted right. So
yeah. I just, man, just for your, just be, the concept of it is so funny. I just want a random winner that hasn't won anything just for you to lose your mind.
well, again, we did that with casting with One Battle After Another, which I was so happy
Yeah.
with. I was so happy I was wrong, even though I'd said on the day of, I was like, "Oh, this needs. I think this is winning casting. It's over." And everyone's like, "No, man, shut
Yeah.
up. It's
Like,
it's going to
yeah.
Sinners."
Yep. Yeah. I
So
don't think BAFTA is gonna be any reliable precursor. And I've been saying that, but I think this year kind of proved it.
yeah. Oh, actually, there was one other question I had before we
Yeah.
go.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Um, Speaking of casting, now that we have it, um,
Yes.
do you think American Fiction would have gotten in for best casting?
I think 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, we both agree it wouldn't have won though, right?
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think right now it's safe to assume the winner is probably going to be like a top picture contender based on. Granted, I was gonna say based on what we've seen, but we only have literally one example.
Yeah.
But
It's
I guess that's just like a gut feeling. That's just how it's gonna play out. But maybe for all we know, we could see a lone casting winner. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
did see Joker win casting at the BAFTAs when it had its inaugural prize.
Yeah. But we literally don't know. Like, we'll find out as the years go on just how weird or how reliable this category will be.
Yeah.
But
All I have to say is that we're already in for a lot of surprises. I think we're getting stunts pretty soon.
I would imagine, like, if
Yeah.
they're already adding casting, they have to add stunts.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm excited, and it's also funny we're recording this. I think like a day or two after they announced their new guidelines for their Oscars, where their screenplays have to be human writer only attached, otherwise they
Yeah.
won't get nominated. So
No,
yeah,
we don't need AI at the Oscars, and I'm glad the
no,
Oscars they're putting their foot down. They're like, we don't want AI here because that's no, 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 no. We don't need that.
yeah,
'Cause that
which is
that's
good, yeah, because
yeah,
it's already
really
flooding
good.
our commercials and ads we go on YouTube and TV for.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Especially in wake of that Variety article in which they're like Hollywood, we got to adapt. We need a AI awards now, but no.
it's
The
like no,
Oscars are like,
stop.
no, we do not.
I think it's funny. They might have just said all this after the McConaughey interview, where they're like, 20 years down the road, we're gonna have are we gonna give out Oscars to AI? And it's like, no, cut that shit right now. We are not doing this shit.
That's McConaughey. You're really slowly killing your goodwill in the public right now by saying stuff like that.
Well,
Because, like, really? Okay, by the way, if CGI or animated performances can't even get nominated, why would AI suddenly be able to? Like,
oh yeah, for performances.
for performances, like, come on, let's be real here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hear you.
I hope you do.
I no, I hear you and I agree with you.
Yes.
but yeah, no, but I like I said, I'm very happy that this season was it came and went.
So, yeah.
And it is what it is. I just realized as we're talking, I'll be back to talking about the season later on, because I'll be hopefully later on in the year I'll be discussing with another guest Godzilla minus one, and how that was an
Oh.
even bigger upset, and it's like holy shit, how did this happen? But that'll be for another time.
Yeah.
So before we officially sign off, I'd like to thank you once again, Roberto, for coming on to the show to discuss American fiction.
Thank
Is there
you.
anything you'd like to plug in on where our listeners could follow you along after the episode is
Yes.
finished?
Yes. You guys, I know I have a lot of big fans on this show, so you can follow me on Twitter at the Club Ortiz. I'm a writer for Loud and Clear Reviews as well as Geek Vibes Nation. So if you want to read my reviews, go to there. And if you don't, I'm gonna kill Matthew. So please do that.
What? Okay, no, he's busting you.
Yeah.
Um, so as for myself, you could follow me and the show through Linktree under at Matthew995, where you can follow along on all my social media accounts such as Twitter and Letterboxd. On the same site, to provide a link for where you can listen to more episodes of our Lone Screenplay Nominee podcast show, as well as my written work on Substack. I've written on social media, and I'll say it again for the show. This is our slow welcoming back into the main show. I will be bringing out more episodes if possible, but we'll see how things go. I think for now, I'm just going to take it a bit slow with this. Who knows? You might get another Lone Screenplay Nominee podcast episode later this month. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. It all depends on how our schedule is aligned for upcoming guests. So we'll see what happens. I'm also a guest writer for Awards Garage, where I'll be writing more reviews for the site. Right now, as I'm recording, I'm actually in the process of writing a special article for the Awards Garage coming up.
Ooh.
I can't mention what it is. I think Roberto already knows, but don't say it.
Okay.
So anyways, so yeah, I'll be writing more reviews, and a special article will be coming out later in the month regarding with Can. So that's that. So please check them out as soon as you can. Speaking of links, if you haven't gotten a chance to, hop over to our After Hours Patreon, where for $3 a month you can have access to exclusive reviews on films we won't be able to cover on the main show. So Roberto has already been kind enough and very patient with his time and doing stuff like Precious and The Cider House Rules, in which we talked about in depth of how those films deserved or didn't deserve their adapted screenplay Oscars. Also, it's ironic. This is the third adapted screenplay movie you've talked about on the show,
Yes.
or overall, I should say. So yeah, so check us out over there as well. Here are discussions, what we have to say about those films in particular. And like I said, $3 a month for a membership. If you're interested, it won't, prices won't be gouged, raised any higher. So yeah, it'll just be exactly that, $3 a month. So if you're able to apply, please do so. Otherwise, just pass along to anyone else who you think is interested in hearing my at length and talkative opinions on and hot takes, apparently, because I apparently have some, and yeah. Anyways, so enough said about you all know. Anyways,
Yeah.
so all right. So before I ramble on anymore, I might as well close out the show officially. So in the meantime, we hope you enjoyed listening to this episode, and we hope to see you at the movies. Take care, guys.